Welcome everybody, this is Bob Bitchin66 here with a race at Monza in Gran Turismo Sport. It's been the daily race last week. We're going to be seeing how we do. I've got a couple races here. The first essentially looking like what I should not be doing at Monza, and the second actually kind of trying to turn that around. So as we get off, I'm driving the Bugatti Veyron Group 4, which seems to be the go-to car for this track, given all the straights. As we can see, turn 1, nothing goes to plan, like always. Definitely cut a little too far inside, try to ride on the outside, but make a couple positions out of it. Not too happy with the approach. Only lap 1, so we do have time. We got the Subaru in front of me kind of glitching out a little bit. As we go around, we do see that I've got a couple of seconds between me and the car behind me. Nothing too bad of a gap, but definitely going into this turn, not getting the exit speed I was hoping for. Got that Viper right behind me as I'm still kind of getting my feel for Monza. I don't drive Monza too often, so that kind of becomes a troubling point when it comes to driving online. Keeping up with the Subaru here. Ooh, we got the Bugatti going off the side a bit. As you'll notice here, I tend to oversteer and snap a bit too hard, get a little bit of contact, but not the penalty. As we all know, Gran Turismo's penalty system is at best questionable. Coming up on the S's, Bugatti comes flying behind me. I try to clip the runoff as well as I can, keep as much exit speed as possible. Luckily in the Bugatti, I am going to have that top speed benefit because just compared to everything else, we definitely have a lot more horsepower coming out. And that's definitely going to lead to a lot more speed. Coming up on the final turn of the track, I try to cut a little inside. Bugatti sneaks in with that late brake, and he does get it. Not quite the start I was looking for from lap 1, but going to try to salvage this as well as I can. Still trying to figure out if this dash thing is real in the Bugatti. I did not think that you could look through a dash and see your rearview mirror. I know a lot of new Hondas do it, but not used to it. Get a little better of an outside approach coming through that turn. One of the most important things, obviously, with Gran Turismo is really trying to push those track boundaries. It really just helps with your exit speed, really keeps you with the pace. As soon as you kind of start to slide a little bit, oversteer, lose your footing, you're going to start seeing those seconds slack. Quite a bit of mayhem coming up here on the next little S. I try to just do everything I can to not lock up my brakes and just see if I can get through this mayhem. Thankfully, he just ghosted. I was able to just get by him. Very nervous when that happens, that you are going to T-bone and take that 6-second penalty. Not too great. I am able to get in front, just need to follow the Bugatti as well as I can. Pretty sure he's got a penalty to take on as he passes the part right here and I slide right by. Fast forwarding a little bit, I get the pace up to the Subaru. Like I said, the Veyron's just got speed unmatched with a track like this that has so many straights. Really try to push those turns, get a little bit of contact in the back. And there is where I am 100% going to draw a penalty. While you are advised to push the track limits, they definitely don't say that you should fully cut corners. Once all 4 of the wheels are off, there is no point of return. Very nervous about this Subaru approaching. He comes right in, get a little bit of contact on the back, but I am able to hold out the turn and get enough speed out of there to get some breathing room. I got a long straight to think about my choices, and we're back to the S, and praying to God that I can hold it here. I know I'm getting rushed by 2 cars, and I go ghost. I go full ghost, and I kind of lose all my speed. I don't know what happens here. I think I feel the contact in the back left, and the Subaru just kind of pushes me a bit sideways. Thankfully, I am able to keep that speed. That's really the most important as long as I'm coming out of there. Can keep the speed. The Veyron can pull away. Unfortunately, running with no ABS, I am just super nervous when it comes to any time I stop. And here I hit the turn pretty well. The Subaru does get a little more speed coming out the gate. I think I went a little too far on the outside, and the Subaru is able to push by me. We get a little bit of contact. Nothing too major. I try to push it here on the late brake, and I'm just not going to have that speed to get past the Subaru. Monza's a tight track. It's really hard to keep the boundaries. I got the Hurricane on my left, and with that penalty I had to serve, cutting that corner, I do serve my sentence. The Hurricane gets a bit squirrely here on the Subaru. I'm just trying to drive my line. I definitely don't want to cut this turn again, and I come very close, but I really wanted to maximize that speed, and I do take the penalty yet again. Clearly learning that, as we'll see come race 2, that I definitely learned the right way to take that turn. No matter how much circuit experience I've done and all the gold medals I've achieved, when it comes to online, that pressure does get to you. And even knowing I've got the faster car in the straights here, as well as getting behind the draft, it still gets nervous. Coming up on turn 1, here is where things go quite bad. I think it's a great idea to go 3 wide. Terrible decision. The Subaru's definitely going to snake it in there. I have no exit speed. I become a nuisance for everyone. If I don't get a penalty from this, Lord hath mercy. I am able to push barely past them. It's kind of neck and neck here with the Subaru. I don't get a penalty, which is where I honestly feel like I deserve one. I could have just backed off a bit, given the Subaru his spot, given him his chance. But knowing my mental aptitude at this moment and getting rear-ended from behind, I knew they were going to get by. They were going to get by just fine. And that Subaru definitely did cut that corner. I know there is a penalty coming for him. He will see his due. And right now it's just going to be me and the Hurricane trying to duke it out. I'm not watching my radar. I'm hitting them left and right. This was not the best race for me. And really, when it comes to Monza, there's not much you can do. It's a skinny track. A lot of people get nervous in the high-speed parts. You kind of have to take it where you can get it. Drop back behind the Silver Veyron. We meet again, and I just want to see this to the end now, at least finishing in a solid position. Very unhappy with all my penalties. I try to take this S as well as I can. Come in, clear the corner just a little bit. Definitely try not to give more than 2 wheels over that curb, and try to pull the draft in the Bugatti. I'm thinking this might be my chance. I can get one more spot. I got the draft. He's going a little on the defensive. Doesn't know where I'm going to go. I try to go from the outside to the inside cutback. Going for the late break, and it does not work out. I lose the traction. Have to go on the runoff, and the Silver Veyron does get around me. And it looks like I'm finishing this race in 7th today. As long as no one else wants to sneak up behind me from my digital dash, I can see that that is not how it's going to play out. Not my best race. Not what I have really strived for here, but on to race 2. I really take a moment, think to myself, and say, what the hell? Let's give it another shot. This time I'm qualifying 8th, and gonna get a lot better of some track time here. I've learned from my mistakes, except for one little mishap that I'm not too sure about. But we're gonna see how it works out. Coming up here, as I prepare to get off auto drive, I mess up the shift, tear apart my mental aptitude towards this entire race at the beginning, but try to brush it off. I want to get back in here. I need to finish better than 7th. Coming up on the first turn here, I'm preparing for mayhem. I tend to brake right before the 150 mark, kind of halfway between the 200 and 150 meter. And mayhem. Straight into the back of the Veyron. I try to salvage what I can, going over the runoff, driving through the Atenza, and I am out of there, getting to 7th. We are seeing progress. You know, accidents happen. I really feel like that wasn't necessarily my fault. The Veyron came to a complete stop, so brush it off, keep it moving. They're moving in a pack of 4 back there. Coming up on turn 2, 5th and 6th, a little bit about going wide off the Subaru. Castro trying to keep it together. I get a solid amount of exit speed. I'm preparing to maybe pull a move right here. I just want to maintain my exit speed, honestly. Push those track boundaries and be able to get a late break on this turn. This turn, not the worst passing opportunity, but a lot of people do run off in the dirt, so that does give you a chance to get by, just like El Jefe. People are going to serve their penalties now, except for the third place car. He's going to see his due later. Come up on the outside here. Just want to kind of keep my exit speed because I know as the Veyron I'm going to excel in straights. Going to make sure to not put 4 wheels off the tarmac right there. And get the draft on Seneco Joe. This turn right here is going to be my best opportunity to take him. Castrol EJ and Mr. CCHL busting it out in the front in the BMW. As I approach the turn, go a little easy on the brakes. I see the BMW definitely held the pressure from Castro, and I'm just trying to maintain my exit speed, get past Seneco Joe. Now coming up, I'm not too proud. I feel like this is a moment I wanted to give him the gap, but I had to accept accidents happen. And as we'll see, we come up to turn 1. Seneco Joe goes around the outside for Castro. I hit the brakes, lock it up a little too much, try to salvage it. I hit Seneco right in the back, pushes him off a bit. I run off. The Subi comes forward. I look at the Bugatti behind me, and I'm like, sorry, Seneco, I gotta go. So we are off again. I don't get a penalty for it. It eats me inside. I feel the guilt. But I know accidents happen. You just gotta keep rolling with the punches. My most important thing here is, play defensive against this Bugatti, get a little bit of contact from the back as I come in, but I do keep the perfect line right there, kind of get some good exit speed, and I am able to pull away from the Bugatti. Castro pushes in, go a little wide on the track boundaries, get a little bit of dusty, a little bit of farming, really trimming the grass. And that Bugatti's going to come sneaking in, but he does have that penalty. I'm really banking on the penalties here. That's where I'm going. Monza, you got to play it safe, let the penalties go where they're due, and that alone is going to shift a lot of positions for you. I'm able to get enough speed to get right past Castro. It's going to be with ease, pull around him on the outside. All I know is I got to focus on a perfect line through here. Approach it, ride the boundaries to an extent, try not to hit the little bumps, and I'm off. I got a good amount of space. It's just me in first place. If anything can happen, we'll see. As of right now, I just got to think a little bit defensively with Castro coming up behind me. The Subaru does keep a good pace with me, honestly. He comes up right here on this final turn. He gets a lot of speed coming out of there, but I am able to retain that speed. Get around there. Looks like he's coming in close, but with the Veyron, I'm just able to pull away. Now, in a perfect world, I would have noticed that this guy was drafting directly behind me, getting a solid speed bump. Granted, in the Veyron, I don't think he would have been able to get around me, but probably should have played this a bit more defensively. I was too focused on my outside line. I know that every time I've taken this turn, I have gone way too inside, and I send it through that turn. The Subaru knocks me a bit, and he is not gonna draw a penalty from that, which is fine. It feels like it was honestly my fault. Pablo go fast, and Castro will work that out. As you'll see here, I'll get a perfect little gap here. Super proud of this turn. I come in with a solid amount of speed. I finally feel like I haven't short braked. He bounces off Pablo. I squeeze through, sniping through the crevice, and I'm back to second place. It feels good. Coming around the next turn, try to play it really safe. I don't want to use the boundaries a bit too harshly. I feel like I've got a solid gap. I really just want to keep my exit speed as well as I can, and I'm super nervous about clipping that grass and sending me off into the wall. Got a great gap now with all the penalties that had to be served. Coming up on one of my favorite turns that we've had a bittersweet relationship here, but I think by this point I finally figure out how to get around this with precision. Right in the boundary, perfect. Keeping the exit speed. It's a good day to be driving a Bugatti at Monza. Coming up, not too much here. I kind of got this 2-3 second gap with first place. I am going to set a new best lap, which makes me very happy. Coming up, and I was like this is it. I gotta do it once with precision. I come in from the outside, clip in, ride the little boundary on the outside, and we are off. I'm able to keep it. I finally have had a turn I can call my own at Monza. Coming around this bend, got a good amount of space behind me. I'm not even focusing on it, just want to have a good lap. Coming up to the S's here, thinking I could potentially have a chance to catch up to the RCZ in first. Ride that boundary a little bit, back tires touch a bit on the dirt, but nothing too ridiculous. I am able to keep it under control. Coming a little too early on that turn right there. And really kind of banking that he could have had a penalty by chance. No penalty from him. That was really my only saving grace that was going to happen coming from this race. And just as I approach my new favorite turn, I come in on the inside, keep it hanging on the right, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get ballsy. I'm going to go for that outside track. And I slip. I go through the grass. I'm freaking out. I look behind me. What can I do? I got space. Everything's fine. Everything's good. No problems here. And to be honest, I feel like I've had a quite successful race here at Monza. First one didn't go too well. Coming in on the second though, we've learned, we've grown, I've excelled, and I'm here to now put it together into second place. Finishing with a 3.8 second gap to first. That was never going to happen, but I am quite happy with how things turned out. Racing online is hard. There is no doubt about it. So putting it into second, whether it's a clean race or not, I'm not so sure. Sorry, Sakoko Joe, rest in peace. But hey, racing's racing, things happen, and it's a victory for me getting the podium. So thank you so much. Until next time, this is Bob Bishan 66, and I will see you on the track.